With wishes for a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi, I, Aishwarya, welcome you all to this edition of Breakfast News. Let us start the news bulletin with the top headlines. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh strongly objects to Pakistan's attempts to raise Kashmir issue at the South Asian Speakers Summit in Maldives. Asserts Kashmir is India's internal issue. Says Pakistan has no moral right to speak on human rights after perpetrating genocide in Bangladesh. Pakistan says it will grant consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav today. Says access in line with the Vienna Convention, ICJ verdict and the laws of Pakistan. India says only unhindered consular access will be accepted. India all set to host 14th Conference of Parties for the first time. 196 countries with over 3,000 delegates likely to participate. COP14 to focus on desertification and degradation of land. India to improve nearly 50 lakh hectares of degraded land in the next 10 years. Six days to landing, Chandrayaan-2 completes a final lunar orbit maneuver. Separation of lander Vikram scheduled this afternoon. Lander to travel towards lunar surface after separation. And chants of Ganpati Bappa Moria ring across the country on Ganesh Chaturthi. 10-day festival celebrates the birth of Lord Ganesh. President, Vice President, Prime Minister extend good wishes to the people. The biggest story that we are tracking this morning, India thwarted another attempt by Pakistan to raise Kashmir issue on a global stage. The two sides had a heated exchange during the South Asian Speakers Summit in Maldives. As Pakistan's Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Qasim Suri, tried to raise the issue during the discussion on Sustainable Development Goals or the SDGs. India immediately raised a point of order, after which the presiding officer asked Suri to let the Indian representative Harivansh to speak. And in a strong response, Harivansh hit out at Pakistan for raising India's internal issue and politicization of the forum.
This point of order relates to the statement given by here. Excellency, we strongly object to the raising of internal matter of India in this forum. We also reject the politicization of this forum by raising issues which are extraneous to the theme of this summit. There is need for Pakistan to end cross-border terrorism and all kinds of state support to the same in the interest of regional peace and stability. Excellencies, terrorism is the biggest threat for entire humanity and the world today. Therefore, unanimously we should not allow in this August gathering any kind of written view to become part of the proceeding. Again, Sir, Excellency Speaker Mohammad Nasir Sahab, Maldives Majlis, and Excellency and Secretary General IPU, Mr. Martin, yours repeatedly and categorical statement that this forum or summit is only meant to discuss SDG, this should not be the part of proceedings, sir. I strongly object to be deleted this part.
Harivansh also told Pakistan to end all state support to terrorism, saying that terrorism is the biggest threat to the humanity. Raising a point of order again, Harivansh said that a country that perpetrated a genocide in a part of their own country, which later became Bangladesh, has no moral right to speak on human rights issue. He said that Pakistan illegally occupied a part of Kashmir through armed action in 1947. He stated that the so-called Azad Kashmir has been given the trappings of a country with a president, a prime minister and a legislature of its own. But the so-called Azad Kashmir is neither a country nor a province after the Karachi Agreement of 1949.
The country which indulged itself in a genocide of its own country, which became a separate country, has moral right to raise this issue here.
Absolutely.
Let me
I'm sorry. No one has the right to. Pakistan is not a purveyor of terror.
Jammu and Kashmir,
Pakistan is
which
a
is
victim
part
of
of
terror.
India. Pakistan had illegally occupied through armed action in
Pakistan is
1947.
not a purveyor of
Pakistan
terror.
has kept the people of this
How
region
dare
guessing on
someone
their
says Pakistan is a
status
purveyor of
as a
terror? We
constitutional
have lost
entity. The
more people in
so-called
this war
AJK is
against terror than
unique.
anyone
It
else.
has been given the trappings of a country with a president, a prime minister, and a legislative and so on. But the so-called AKJ is neither a country nor a province.
Mr.
The Karachi Agreement of
I'm sorry.
India, please stick to your point of order without going to the substance of the matter. Please.
95% of the land is strategically important for its connectivity with China.
Deputy Speaker.
Pakistan's direct connection. This meeting is for SDG only. Sir. Nothing should be on record. Otherwise,
Human rights.
And Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma, who is a part of the Indian delegation led by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla in the Maldives, spoke to Rajya Sabha TV on the issue. Let's take a listen.
जैसे ही पाकिस्तान ने ये मुद्दा को अपने विषय में किसी तरह से खींचतान करके लाने की कोशिश की गई, तो तुरंत हमारे डिप्टी चेयरमैन और स्पीकर दोनों खड़े हो गए और डिप्टी चेयरमैन ने बोला और कहा इस बात को कि ये विषय जो हम इस समय डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, जो इस फोर्थ साउथ एशियन स्पीकर समिट का विषय है, ये उससे एकदम हटकर ये बिंदु उठाया जा रहा है। और इस सम्मेलन में चूंकि हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स को डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स से हट करके किसी भी कंट्री का आंतरिक मामला वो यहाँ नहीं उठाया जा सकता। मैं समझता हूँ कि ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण कूटनीतिक विजय भारत के लिए रही, क्योंकि ये बहुत पहले से ये अंदाजा हो रहा था कि पाकिस्तान बिना कारण और सब विषय से कनेक्टेड न होने के बावजूद they might raise this issue. So we had in fact sounded also the chair of the session, which is the speaker of the Maldives. और उसके बाद भी पाकिस्तान ने जबरदस्ती उसको उठाने की कोशिश की और हमारे स्पीकर और हमारे ऑनरेबल डिप्टी चेयरमैन राज्यसभा के द्वारा उसको बहुत ही इफेक्टिव ढंग से काउंटर किया गया, जिसका परिणाम ये रहा कि चेयर ने अपने सीट से ये आर्डर किया कि इस तरह का विषय जो सब्जेक्ट से कनेक्टेड नहीं है वो नहीं उठाया जा सकता। और जिस तरह से मेंबर्स का भी रिस्पांस था, मैं समझता हूँ जो और कंट्रीज के डेलीगेट थे, उससे ऐसा लगता है कि ये हमारे लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण उपलब्धि है। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि किसी भी इंटरनेशनल फोरम में पाकिस्तान को इस विषय को उठाने का जो प्रयास है, उससे एक उनको बड़ा झटका लगा है इस प्रयास में।
And our colleague Akhilesh Suman is now joining us live from the newsroom for a perspective on that big story. Akhilesh, a very good morning. Akhilesh, Pakistan once again has been slammed for its stand on Kashmir on an international forum. Time and again it is trying to raise this issue on various international fora, but desperately so and failing once more.
It's Pakistan's own problem, and Pakistan gets trapped in its own, problems that it creates. Article 370, the abrogation of it was all, India's internal affair, that how India can manage its own administration internally. So Pakistan should not have been worried about it, and it should not have reacted so fiercely about it, because it was happening inside Indian territory. But given the fact that Pakistan always feels, elated, and Pakistan tries to address its own votary and its own people about Kashmir, showing that they are very concerned about Kashmir, and they try to raise the issue against the SAARC Charter, because SAARC Charter provides that, you cannot talk the bilateral issue on the SAARC forum. You cannot even talk about the internal problem of one country who are the members of SAARC. So I think Pakistan was going against the SAARC Charter, and India has inkling that, Pakistan can raise this issue, and that is why, that External Affairs Ministry officials were present there, and there was already a draft prepared that what Pakistan can speak, and so Pat came the reply. Mr. Harivansh, who is also presiding officer of Rajya Sabha, India, the world's largest democracy's house, that he knows that how to raise the point of order, and the way he raised the point of order immediately after Deputy Speaker of Pakistan National Assembly raised the issue, I think it was commendable effort. And the way he projected the whole situation that is there inside Pakistan, he has actually shown the mirror to Pakistan, that how can you talk about human rights when your own country was divided on the question of human rights. So I think Pakistan failed once again, and I think the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the way he is suggesting that Pakistan and India should cooperate on the issue of unemployment, on the issue of poverty, on the issue of development, I think Imran Khan should hear this suggestion from Prime Minister.
Absolutely, bang on, Akhilesh. There, stay with us. We'll just come back to you because we need to also talk about Kulbhushan Jadhav's consular access offer that Pakistan has given. Of course, Pakistan has offered to provide consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav today. In an announcement on Sunday, Pakistan's Foreign Office said that it will grant consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav on Monday in line with the Vienna Convention, the judgment of the International Court of Justice or the ICJ, and laws of Pakistan. India, remember, had asked for immediate, effective and unhindered consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav from Pakistan. However, Mohammad Faisal's tweet on Sunday does not say if the consular access will be unhindered or not. All right, let's go back to Akhilesh Suman on that big story as well. Akhilesh, earlier also Pakistan had offered consular access to Jadhav on 1st of August, but it had conditions attached to it that, one Pakistani official would be present alongside. And India has been demanding unrestricted access to Jadhav under the Vienna Convention. What do you think is expected to happen today?
Right. We have been tracking this issue, Aishwarya, for a long time, and just after 1st August, when India had rejected Pakistan's offer of giving consular access to Mr. Kulbhushan Jadhav, the condition that Pakistan had put in that point of time, that Pakistani officials will also be present in that meeting between Mr. Jadhav and Indian officials. So it was not acceptable that how can, Pakistani officials will be present in the meeting. Then Mr. Jadhav cannot tell anything because he will be feeling intimidated. He will be afraid of what will happen if he tells the truth. So that is why India has rejected that offer that time. 1st August, and then it's 1 month again, Pakistan has offered this consular access again. MEA and Pakistani Foreign Ministry officials were in regular touch. And they were talking about it, that how to, facilitate this consular access. The only thing that is coming in the way that Pakistan is putting Pakistan's own law in between. Because if you see the tweet of Mr. Faisal, he is telling, according to Vienna Convention, then according to ICJ justice verdict, and then he is telling about Pakistan's law. So it cannot be. It is an international issue. It is an international consular access. And what international laws are there that should be applicable, and that would be applicable. So India is still in touch with Pakistani officials, and we will come to know that whether India is going to accept it unless it is free of intimidation, it is free of any intervention by Pakistani officials in that point of time when Indian officials are meeting Mr. Jadhav. So let us wait and see how it comes out sometimes later in the day, That's what
All right. Akhilesh, thank you so much for all those updates and a perspective on those two big stories of the day. And the 14th Conference of Parties, or COP14, to the UN Convention to combat desertification will begin from today at Greater Noida. Now, this is for the first time that India is hosting the 14th Conference of Parties, or COP14. Over 3,000 delegates from 196 countries are likely to attend the session. COP14 will go on till 13th of this month. The conference, being organized by the UN Convention to combat desertification, will be inaugurated by Union Minister Prakash Javadekar and UNCCD Executive Secretary Ibrahim Thiaw. The theme of COP14 this year is investing in the land, unlocking opportunities. Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Prakash Javadekar had earlier this week highlighted India's resolve to combat desertification. The minister said that India will convert degraded land of nearly 50 lakh hectares to fertile land in the next 10 years. Saying that it is the common resolve of the world to combat desertification, Javadekar asserted that India will lead from the front and move the world in a positive direction. The convention entered into force in December 1996 and India became a signatory to UNCCD on 14th of October 1994 and had ratified it on 17th of December 1996. The main objective of the convention is to combat desertification and mitigate the effects of droughts in the countries experiencing serious drought or desertification. And the Ministry of External Affairs has clarified that people left out of the National Register of Citizens for Assam are not stateless. The MEA, in a statement, said that they will continue to enjoy all the rights as before till they exhaust all the legal remedies. MEA spokesperson Ravish Kumar said that the Assam government is establishing 200 more tribunals in addition to the existing 100 to expedite the process of receiving applications for inclusion. He also said that the Indian government will even assist in providing directions on how to deal with such appeals. MEA spokesperson Ravish Kumar said that the NRC is a court-mandated and monitored exercise and not an executive-driven process. Remember, out of over 3.3 crore applicants, over 19 lakh people were excluded from the final NRC that was published on Saturday.
Exclusion from the NRC has no implication on the rights of an individual resident in Assam. For those who are not in the final list will not be detained and will continue to enjoy all the rights as before till they have exhausted all the remedies available under the law. It does not make the excluded person stateless. It also does not make him or her a foreigner within the legal meaning of the term. They will not be deprived of any rights or entitlements which they have enjoyed before. The Government of India will even assist in providing directions on how to deal with such appeals. Through the district legal service authorities, the government has provisioned to extend legal aid to the needy. The state of Assam has assured provision of free legal assistance to any person excluded from the list and who is unable to afford such legal assistance. This is to enable people, especially the disadvantaged sections, to have access to the best possible legal assistance.
On to some other news now. Home Minister Amit Shah on Sunday said that while the entire country supports the centre's move to scrap Jammu and Kashmir's special status under Article 370 and bifurcate into 2 union territories, it is still being opposed by certain political parties. Amit Shah launched a 2-pronged attack on Congress leader Rahul Gandhi and NCP chief Sharad Pawar. Addressing a public meeting at Silvassa, the headquarters of the Union Territories of Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Amit Shah said that the Congress opposed the centre's move and whatever statements Rahul Gandhi makes have been cheered in Pakistan. He said that Pakistan has included Rahul Gandhi's comments in its plea to the United Nations against India. Amit Shah said that the revocation of Jammu and Kashmir's special status has paved the way for its development. The Home Minister also dedicated and inaugurated a series of development projects in Silvassa. He laid the foundation stone for education hub at Zanda Chowk and in Tokar Khara in Silvassa.
देश की जनता मोदी जी के साथ खड़ी। मैं आज भी आप लोगों को पूछना चाहता हूं, संघ प्रदेश के ढेर सारे लोग 20-25 हजार लोग यहाँ उपस्थित हैं। आप मुझे एक बार बताइए, 370 हटाने के निर्णय के आप साथ में है या नहीं है? जोर से बताइए एक बार। आप मोदी जी के समर्थन में है या नहीं है? मित्रों, जो लोग 370 पर देश के हित के बारे में, आतंकवाद के खिलाफ की लड़ाई के बारे में, यूएपीए को कठोर करने के बारे में दलगत राजनीति कर रहे हैं, इनको पहचानने की देश की जनता को जरूरत है।
On to some other news now. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has assured bank employees that not even a single person will lose job following the merger of public sector banks. The Finance Minister allayed fears of job losses following the government's mega plan to merge 10 public sector banks into 4 in a bid to boost economy, saying that there would not be any closure of banks.
Every union in every one of these banks to please recall what I have said last Friday. When we spoke about the amalgamation of banks, each time I have, as I'm talking about one set of amalgamation, second set of, like that I've spoken about 4 sets of amalgamation. I have very clearly underlined the fact that there shall not be one employee removed, not at all. We are not looking at any employee being removed. And that is also proven by the fact earlier we had done about 2 years ago SBI with all its groups. This year, early this year, sometime in February, March, probably before April, Bank of Baroda with 2 other banks. Has there been even one retrenchment, please? No. None of them had, and I've made it a point to make it as a specific announcement, even last Friday, that there shall not be a removal from job of even 1%. I want 1%. I'm taking this opportunity to reiterate, and therefore they need not have any concern on that score.
Addressing officers of Customs, GST and Income Tax Department, the Finance Minister said that the government's efforts to promote electric vehicles should not be seen as promoting electric vehicles at the expense of others. She also said that the decision on reducing GST on automobiles was not entirely in her hands, as matters of indirect taxation were now entrusted to the GST Council. She also said that the government was responding to the concerns of industry in a sectoral manner.
I'm meeting with industries and taking their inputs and industries' suggestions on what they would want and what they expect from the Government of India. I'm responding to them. I've already done twice. I will do more number of times so that every industry which has approached me, I will respond.
On to some other news, observing that connectivity was key to make India a developed country, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Sunday called for developing infrastructure on par with the highest international standards, particularly in providing rail, road, air and port connectivity and improving the service delivery to the people. Speaking after flagging off the Gudur-Vijayawada Intercity Superfast Express at Gudur Railway Station, the Vice President stressed on the need to step up investments to strengthen and modernize the infrastructure. Venkaiah Naidu also dedicated to the nation the electrification of India's longest electrified rail tunnel, expressing happiness that railway stations were being modernized in a phased manner and that about 500 stations were taken up for redevelopment through PPP model. Naidu said that the PPP model should be adopted wherever necessary.
For achieving its best ever safety record in 2018-19, I am told that all unmanned level crossings on broad gauge network have been eliminated, that a Rashtriya Rail Samrakshana Kosh fund of rupees 1 lakh crore has been created for safety expenditure. The railway is also playing a major role in promoting tourism in the country.
And in another event in Nellore, the Vice President appreciated the efforts of Andhra Pradesh government to touch 20 million people in the state in the next 15 years and provide them with skilling and entrepreneurship to meet the skilled demands of 7 missions launched by the government. The Vice President said that it was important to have a skilled manpower with the needed skill sets in various sectors to drive growth. Referring to the various programs undertaken by the Swarna Bharat Trust, he said that they were aimed at empowering the rural youth and women to stand on their feet by imparting the required training and skills in different vocations. And the stage is set for the crucial separation of lander Vikram from Chandrayaan-2 today afternoon. According to ISRO, the separation is scheduled between 12:45 p.m. and 1:45 p.m. This separation will allow the lander to travel towards the lunar surface, leaving the orbiter to continue to revolve around the moon. On Sunday evening, ISRO successfully carried out the fifth and final orbit maneuver of Chandrayaan-2 to refine its circular path around the moon. And the composite Chandrayaan-2, remember, has an orbiter, the lander and the rover. And the mission of the lander is to soft land on the lunar south pole and to safely unleash the rover. And India is celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi today. The festival marks the birth of Lord Ganesh, who is a symbol of wisdom, prosperity and good fortune. The day also marks the beginning of the 10-day-long festival in which devotees bring the idols of Ganesh in their homes and also celebrate the festivals in pandals. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Modi have greeted the people on the occasion. In a Twitter message, President Ramnath Kovind wished peace, happiness and prosperity for every citizen. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also greeted the people on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. He hoped that the festival will bring peace, harmony and prosperity in the country. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also wished people on the occasion. And with wishes for a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you from the entire team of Rajya Sabha TV, I take your leave. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.